Now, I know you're wondering, where are the birds? But then you can be able to hear the song in the other background. So let's get to go to see the new place whereby we have moved our birds and get to observe them. So we have our feeds here, and later on I'll be explaining what is going on with them. But for now, we have our birds right there. And you can be able to observe how huge that space looks, and of course how happy the birds are. Now let's go even little bit closer and see our birds. You are able to observe how clean the wood shavings are, and of course how fresh they look. The birds are amazing, they are just loving it. But currently there is rain, so that's why you can be able to hear the relentless. But also there is also the sunlight, which is a significant occurrence. They are all spread out. And also something else to note is how we have also been able to get our water drinkers and feeders across. Obviously this is still ongoing. We are yet to finalize to put an extra feeder here, and of course another extra feeder on this space. But just look how amazing that space is. Now when you're doing poultry farming, it's important to ensure that your litter is in good condition, because if it's not in good conditions, then your birds are going to suffer. What causes birds maybe might end up even dying in worse situations, or even have food lessons, and this can damage your flock. Now, as a poultry or as an aspiring agripreneur, what you need is to maximize your profit. Now, if you can be able to do that, then you'll be smiling all the way to the bank. So let's get to see, and even on a near space, what's going on. Now, earlier in the morning, I mentioned something. Today was the last day of the brooding, that was being day 18. And then, apart from moving the birds to a new place, there's also something else which was happening, and as a farmer you need to know. That is what we call change of feeds. Now, in front of me, you can be able to see the brand that I use, and this is based on my prior experience with the brand. Now, what you can be able to notice is on one end, I have finisher pellets, and well on my right hand, I have starter crumb. Now you might wonder what's going on. So being day 18, do I just change from starter to finisher? No, you don't do that, because if you do that immediately, that is going to interfere with the system of your birds. So what is recommended is you need to do one thing. That is, for the first day, that is being, for example, with Afrifama, we usually start changing our feeds on day 18 as recommended by our vet. So what we do is we mix in the ratio of 3/4 by 1/4. That is, with the starter crumbs, I'll be able to use 3/4, while on the finisher, I introduce 1/4. Now tomorrow, I will increase the finisher by 1/4, which will give me 1/2, while I will reduce the starter by 1/4, which will give me 1/2. So the ratio will be 1/2 to 1/2. Well, on the third day, I will reduce again by 1/4, that is on the starter, and the starter will now come down to 1/4, while the finisher will go up by 3/4. And on the fourth day, I will now be able to give my birds all whole finisher. This is why it's important not to make drastic changes, is that the digestion system of the chick is not kind of disturbed. Disturbed is the word I will use for lack of a better one. So in this vlog, I'm going to show you how we do introduce this ratio. And you don't even need to have, well, your measuring weight. You can use, well, for us, the jerrycan you use to get the feed. So in a few, let me show you how we do this. Well, you've just seen what I meant ratio of 3/4 to 1/4. Now I've just used 3 jerrycan of starter pellets. Well, I've used 1 jerrycan of finisher pellets. And then there's also something different you need also to know as you're introducing these feeds to your birds. Note the difference between the starter pellets and the finisher pellets. On one hand, the starter pellets seems to be tiny, while on the other hand, the finisher pellet seems to be quite huge. Now you can be able also to understand just that as analogy of a young child. When they are growing or when they are newborn, they are not introduced to the big spoons of ugali. While they tend to grow, then you can introduce big food like ugali gradually. The same thing happened with the chicken. Let me show you what I mean by this. You can be able to see the bigger difference. On one hand, this is the right hand. This is the finisher pellet, and it seems to be, well, they are big. Well, on this other hand, we have the starter pellet. They are kind of tiny in a way. You note the difference? So once you are able now to introduce it gradually, then the bird will now start to get used to the feeds, and this cannot cause any difference. one last bit, just like other days, you need now to also determine the progress of your birds. And the best way you can be able to do that is by measuring their weight to see how is the feed conversion rate like and how is that progress being translated. So what I'm going to do in the next few minutes, I'll be taking various birds and I'll be doing random sampling, and I'll be able now to get what is the average weight. So I'll try to pick the smallest, the medium, and the biggest from different areas across the coop. Let's see how this one goes. So our first bird, let's see how it weighs. It's on 658 grams. I'll take another one. And for this one is 582 grams. And our fourth is 696 grams. Our next sample, it's 604 grams. Okay, make sure the weight is on right. Okay, sample number 6. Wow, this is a huge one, 716 grams. Okay, and our last sample, 630 grams. Now we have been able to finalize all the things that we said today. We have seen that we've been able to transfer our birds. We have also been able to measure our progress in terms of the weight. And I'm also super excited that today we've recorded a high of 700 grams and a low of around 580 grams. Now, I'm also super excited that just last night I was able to receive a call from a guy from Eldoret telling me how inspired he was, and he's actually been able to kickstart his own poultry project. Now, Afrifama, it's about inspiring the next generation of young farmers, not only here in Kenya, but across Africa. Now, if you want this to reach to more people out there, you can subscribe, and as well you can share this video with your colleagues. Hopefully you guys, you're being inspired by our whole journey, and the next vlog will be on day 21. We are going to discuss the issues which might have come up and how we were able to handle them, and also share some insight on how you build your own poultry brand. Until next time, have a great day wherever you are, and bye.